We attract students from all over the world. We have close to 50,000 students from more than 160 different countries. And that's really valuable in terms of your experience, not just in soft skills, but also in the classroom where your classmates will be bringing, say, for example, you're studying urban design, you're bringing examples from Russia, and perhaps a classmate is giving examples of what they do when they're in Ghana or in the US or in Japan, for example. So you're really learning not just from Scottish students, but also that diverse classroom that you're in, as well as a very diverse staff network that we have as well. We have a ratio of 1 academic staff member to every 6 students, so you will have a great deal of access to the staff at the university. And I mentioned before that the that the city of Edinburgh has a population of about 500,000. Generally speaking, within the city of Edinburgh, about 100,000 are students, the largest institution being the University of Edinburgh, but there are 3 other universities in the city, so there's a very large student population that you will be able to engage with. So I hope by now you're thinking about what you can do at university. Maybe you have a subject in mind already, maybe even a specific degree. Now, we teach our courses across 3 different colleges, and within those colleges we have 21 schools who are very focused on their particular fields and particular areas of research. Now, undergraduate level, that means we have over 380 different undergraduate programs and internationally recognized qualifications that employers really value. We do a 2-semester system, so that means you start in September, you stop for the Christmas break in December, and then you restart in January until May. Now, if you're a postgraduate student, you'll have a 3rd semester over the summer because these are predominantly a 1-year master's course. As an undergraduate, with the summer off, this may be a good opportunity for you to do internships or take on a project or maybe travel and explore while you're with us. Now, thinking about those schools that I mentioned within the 3-college system, this gives you a broad idea of what is available at the University of Edinburgh. So within our 3 colleges, you've got the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, and you can see the range of schools that fall within that. Now, I won't go into every degree subject there, but you will find quite a diverse range of subjects within those. Then you have the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, where our School of Medical Sciences sits. And then you also have the vet school within that. And then you have the College of Science and Engineering. Sorry, tripping over my words there. So we have 7 schools that falls within that. So you may know straight away which of these schools is your main focus. You may know that already, but I would encourage you to branch out. There may be degrees that you haven't necessarily looked at, because if you want to study, data science, then you'll automatically think about the School of Informatics. But I would point out that there are courses within the Edinburgh Futures Institute that also contain some parts of data science. So it is a chance for you to explore other areas as well, and not just go for the first thing that you see. Make sure that you have had a good look around to make sure that you have found the right degree for you. Okay, so just a quick mention on the Scottish degree. And I mentioned earlier that Scotland has its own education system. And this is important because if you're planning to study a bachelor's degree at the University of Edinburgh, it's important that you know it is a 4-year bachelor's degree, okay? And you will find that not every country offers a 4-year, sometimes it's 3 years, sometimes it's 4 years, and it's important to know what the difference is and which is your preference. So within the 4-year degree, it allows you a great deal of flexibility. You can try some subjects before you specialise, and I will show you some examples of what that looks like in a second. You can study additional subjects within that degree system. It allows you to take on potential other subjects, experience new subjects without committing to doing a full degree within them. And it might give you the opportunity, if that's what you want to do, to change direction even after you have started your bachelor's degree. It also lets you tailor the degree as you go within certain limitations. So that gives you a breadth of knowledge, all of that employers are really seeking, and it allows you to choose as you go to a certain extent. So what I'm showing you here is a typical degree structure, but it is important that I point out that there are some caveats. So, for example, the medicine degree is obviously very focused on medicine because it is a professional qualification, as would be something like engineering, for example. These are professionally accredited qualifications and therefore have to follow a more rigid structure. However, the vast majority of our degrees at the University of Edinburgh will allow you this level of flexibility. So in year one, you'll take your main subjects and then potentially be taking an outside course from across science, humanities, and social sciences. Now, you will choose that as you go. Your main subjects will be chosen by the degree that you have applied for and been given an offer for, but you will have this option to take an outside course alongside that. Then within year two, now most students are going straight into year one, but even within year two, there is this element of flexibility. So you will continue with the same outside course that you already chose, or you will swap it for something else if that's your preference, but that's alongside these main subjects that are mentioned here. And then you start to specialise in year 3 and 4. So you'll start to take core modules and then select options within, say, economics or history that meet the demand for what you're interested in. And crucially, in your third year, that's when, if you're going to do study abroad, it will probably be within that year. And you can have a browse on the web pages as to what the study abroad destinations are for your particular chosen field. Then in year 4, it's very much your final year, and you'll be doing your specialist subjects within that. And then it is likely that within that structure, you'll also be doing a dissertation or a project. And this is what we call your honours degree, if you do the 4th year as well. Okay, and most students are doing the full 4 years. So thinking about academic life, well, obviously, so this image here is from our central campus. It's right within the heart of it, so you may not see it in some of the bigger pictures, but it's a very lovely space, outdoor space for students to use. So academic life, you will have a wide variety of experiences within your degree, whether it's undergraduate or postgraduate. Every form of experience that they can offer you, they will provide. So there will be a lot of independent learning, there will be lectures, there will be seminars, there will be tutorials, there will be labs if that's appropriate to your course, there will be workshops and tutorials. So everything that they can think of, they will find a way to expose you to that, because that's really valued by employers, the ability to work in these different scenarios. The same is true for assessment. So if you are being assessed in any given semester, the likelihood is it will be a mixture of continuous assessment through reports and essays and other written work, maybe tests throughout the semester. And then some courses will have exams and some will have a mixture of exams and continuous assessment in determining your final grade. And the other thing I've not mentioned here is presentations, which is likely to be part of almost every qualification as well. Again, one of those soft skills that employers are really, really keen that students are ready to use when they are in employment. You will have dedicated academic and student experience support within your school. So you will have somebody to go to get guidance on choosing your electives and choosing your options and what to take in second year, what to take in third year. There will be people to support you through that and give you guidance. You will also have access to resources on study skills as well as peer support throughout the entire time. I wanted to show you this because this is something we get asked quite often by students. Now, I only have examples for undergraduate timetables, but the week runs very similar for postgraduate students as well, but it will depend on your course that you're taking. So this is a humanities example. Now you can see here that they have some classes on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then only one class on Friday. Now, I hope that you're not assuming that that means that is all free time, because even though you are in class for, let's say, 10 to 15 hours that week, that doesn't mean that the rest is free time, because you will be doing independent study, which is a large part of the UK study experience. The way that we teach in the UK really values independent study, and that you would be preparing for assignments or for your next tutorial, for example. So it is a constant process and you are studying full time. You will also notice on a Wednesday afternoon it is blanked out for sports and societies. Now, this is not compulsory, but every university in the UK will not schedule classes in that period so that students can take part in inter-university competitions or activities, so that it allows for, say, varsity competitions. If we look at an engineering example, you will notice that there is more time in the classroom, and this is simply put down to lab experience. So obviously some classes like engineering will require you to be on campus to do specific lab work or experiments. If you're an art and design student, then you are likely to be on campus using the facilities rather than at home or in the library. It's just the nature of those courses is a bit different. So as you can see, it is not one size fits all, but hopefully that gives you a taste of what you could expect as a student here. So thinking about, if there's anybody with us that's thinking about postgraduate study, this is really very focused on postgraduate study at this point. So as a master's program, if you're thinking of coming to study a master's with us at the University of Edinburgh, these courses are predominantly, with only a few exceptions, these are 12 months long. So you would start in September and finish in August. And they are, as the slide says, highly intensive courses. They are curriculum driven, and it will also culminate in a period of independent work. So this is your dissertation or project that will take place in the third semester. So that would be June, July, August, and submitting in August. And that's what makes it a master's degree, that really large project that you do in the third semester. Now, depending on the course that you choose, there will be a mixture of core and optional modules, and potentially the opportunity for interdisciplinary study, and this will vary from course to course. With your project, you may have a topic in mind, or you may get a topic through your department. It's not one size fits all, but that's something that you can discuss with your academics once you arrive if you've got a particular field of interest. And you will find that all of the courses will be heavily linked with industry as well. In fact, they've probably been created with industry in mind, and you will have the opportunity to connect professionally with the relevant industry as well. If you're thinking about a research degree, so this could be a PhD or a master's by research, these are various schedules and lengths. Masters by research is also 1 year, generally speaking, but a PhD is 3 to 4 years, depending on how long that takes, and that's what takes you to a doctorate, ultimately. Now, if you are thinking about applying for a research qualification, then it is normal practice to have a supervisor in mind before that. So therefore, it's required to do a bit of research before applying to do the research. And you will find that each school has its own research interests listed on their web pages. It's a very autonomous experience being a research student as opposed to being a postgraduate taught student. And you will have to be very driven by your subject and able to work in that autonomous way. Okay, so thinking about student life, well, as a student, you'll have access to the Health and Wellbeing Centre, as well as the Advice Place, lots of sources of support. You'll also have access to our sports and exercise facilities. So lots of different extracurricular activities that you can take part in, including over 300 clubs and societies that you can join. And that's not even including the sports clubs that you can join, which I think we have about 60 of those. So you can, or in fact, over 70 different clubs and societies, my apologies. So there is something for everybody, but the main structure of these clubs and societies is that they are driven by the student population. So if you find that there is a club that doesn't exist and doesn't represent your interests, and you are keen that one is created, then you can do that. You can create a club or a society for your dedicated area of interest, and set that up so other students can take part, and you can meet students with that interest area as well. So it's a really great way to meet new people, to try new things. Some of them are hobby-based. So you can see in the image, there's a war game society. But there is also some that are nationality or region specific, some that are focused on the degree. So if you're interested in medicine or business, then there are like entrepreneurial groups, for example. So there's lots of different ways and means that you can engage with these societies. The career service, now I mentioned this earlier, we do have an award-winning career service, and this is something I really encourage students to read up on before they join us, but also to take advantage of while they're students. So we are ranked 9th in the UK for our ability to produce work-ready graduates, and that's the QS Employability Rankings of 2022, which is the most recent of those rankings. Now, we provide lots of different ways for our students to engage with improving their employability. So for example, My Career Hub. So this advertises local and national, and in some cases global career opportunities. But it is also a way, if you want to work part-time, then you can potentially find work through that system as well. So it's not always about the post-graduation experience. It's potentially about what can I do this semester that will either allow me to earn a little bit of extra cash, or potentially you're looking for experience within a particular field. We also have teams that are focused on finding opportunities for internships, for employee relations, and we have on-campus events that they organize all throughout the year, and you can see some of those listed on the web pages. So there's lots of different ways for you to engage with these opportunities and thereby increase your employability. Something we often get asked is about accommodation. So now students may be thinking about on-campus versus off-campus, and we are a city-based university. So there isn't quite the same definition of off and on-campus. So we are city-based, which means the accommodation is within the city itself. And we have over 9,000 places in accommodation, all different shapes and sizes, all different price points as well, depending on the budget that you have. Most students do prefer to stay with us in their first year at university, whether that's a bachelor's degree, in which case it's the first of 4 or 5 years, and it is for a master's student, likely to be the full year that they are with us. We do have a large support system within our accommodation, and there is a department called Res Life, which is deliberately created to provide support to students throughout their experience in accommodation as well. And then after that first year, the likelihood is you will move into private accommodation, and the university can also provide you with guidance in finding that. And then just a quick mention on costs. This is not something to be forgotten about because it is a crucial part of the admissions process. So please check the program fees in advance. Make sure you're aware of how much it will cost for tuition fees, but also be aware that living costs is not something to be forgotten about either. So generally the minimum amount per month outside of London is just under £1,200 per month, but this is very much the minimum for living costs, and it is important to manage your own budget accordingly. You can also check our scholarship tool. We do have some subject-specific scholarships that you may be eligible for. It is likely that they would require an application form, so do be wary of those deadlines as well. And obviously there may be funding within your own national funding bodies, so worth exploring as well.